Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Mina Kamille here, and today we are going to be segueing into our fall fragrances. I wanted to start off this series with doing the lovely apple. So we're gonna do, I'm gonna be doing a new series on the channel for fall fragrances, and I'm gonna go through some of the fruits or notes that I think are most suited for fall. So yeah, let's kick this off with some of my favorite apple scents that I think work beautifully this time of year specifically. So our first fragrance is going to be one from the house of Nobile 1942. This is probably one of my favorite apple fragrances of all time. I always struggle to pronounce this, so bear with me. I'm going to be looking at my notes here as well. So this fragrance is La Danza delle Libellule. I think I'm saying that right. La Danza delle Libellule. That is Italian for the dance of dragonflies. This scent is delicious. I'm not going to do a full breakdown of these fragrances for the sake of time, but I will say, like, a few of the notes. You have a juicy red apple at the top, vanilla, coconut. I mean, absolutely mouth-watering fragrance, but in a very gourmand way. Like, think of a fruity gourmand. This scent is sensual, it's very sexy, it wears on the skin, but it projects really nicely. Hands down, my favorite, probably. I mean, I'm gonna list some other really good ones, but this one is just amazing. It's this creamy, milky scent that's kind of tropical, but don't let the coconut throw you off. You can definitely wear this in fall. The apple is so pronounced. Chef's kiss. That's all I gotta say. It's chef's kiss. It's so good. People will smell you. I get so many compliments on this fragrance. Like, people will smell you and ask what you're wearing. You smell that good, okay? You smell that good. All right, so next we have another Italian house. This is from the house of Hilde Soliani, and this one is the El Tempo delle Mille. This one it translates to apple time. This fragrance consists of 3 notes. That is milk, apple, and vanilla. This is comparable to La Danza, the one I just mentioned before, but it's not as creamy as La Danza is. This is a more fresh take on an apple. La Danza is more of a juicy, like, Fuji apple or red apple, and it's just like all of these creamy elements to it, just like a really sexy, creamy fragrance. This one is sensual as well, but this one is a little more bright and uplifting. This one, think of more so like the green apple versus the red apple, like that slightly sourness. So it almost seems a little fresher. And in the dry down, there's more of a pastry note. I think the milk adds a little bit of that. There's more of like this pastry buttery note that kind of reminds me of an apple croissant, or like one of those like apple danishes or something like that. It kind of puts you in that mind a bit. It's so good. It's so delicious. The first one I like a little bit better, but I love this one as well. And I honestly would wear this one all the way into the winter. I mean, same thing with the other one. You can wear this all the way through the holiday season. This one, you can wear these year round, to be honest, because of the apple. It's so fun and playful. I feel like this one you can get away with more like in the springtime, in comparison to La Danza. La Danza is even more gourmand and it's even more sweeter. So I feel like at that time it will be like maybe a nighttime fragrance. Versus this one, it's slightly more energetic and uplifting. You can get away with this in the daytime for sure. Super good. Try it out. Highly, highly recommend. My only complaint about this one is that it doesn't last as long as I would want it to. But I mean, it's still worth it. And it's not a lot of apple creamy fragrances on the market that I have smelled personally, outside of the two that I just mentioned. That being said, let's move on into the next one. So the next one I have on my list is Tonka Bodycon. This one is by Pierre Guglielmi. I probably butchered that. But I have two fragrances from his collection, actually. So the first one is Tonka Bodycon. And this fragrance is like some of the keynotes. Again, I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of the keynotes are tonka bean, apple, vanilla, and pistachio. And this one is very intriguing to me because it is a delicious apple pie scent, which honestly is not something that's unique. Like, we have scents like that. It does put you in the mind of like Angel Share, even though Angel Share doesn't have apple. It smells like it has apple, but I don't think it has apple. It puts you into that mind. When you first smell it, it invokes memories of like Thanksgiving, apple pie, apple crisp, and ice cream. It's a little boozy. There's bourbon, there's vanilla, there's some jasmine, although I don't really smell the jasmine, but this is where things get interesting. That's all great in the beginning. It's like a lighter, funner, or a more feminine version of Angel Share, to me personally. Angel Share is a little bit too much for me, a little bit too boozy. This one does have the booze, it has bourbon, but it's not as boozy as Angel Share is. So if you want something that's a little lighter, but you still like that apple spice scent, this is great. Where it gets interesting in the dry down, when I tried this on my skin and I was not expecting it, I almost did not recognize the fragrance at all, because it kind of turns into a skin scent a little bit. Like, it becomes very light and airy and almost powdery. Almost powdery and almost like a skin scent, like a pheromone scent. And I think I think it's the pistachio. It's something powdery about this in the dry down, but it's so good. And if you like if you've smelled Lamel or like those kind of like lavender or violet kind of powdery scents, and you like those, or like sandalwoody scents, but they're like too masculine for you, but you wanted something like that in the feminine wheelhouse, try this one out, because it almost feels like you're getting two fragrances as one. It starts off very apple spicy, and then it turns into this beautiful soft skin scent that smells so good. And I just found that very unique. Very unique. I was not expecting that in the dry down as well. I was expecting to get like a heavy like vanilla woodsy scent. And I was not expecting that powdery kind of soapy, almost soapy scent. So try it. Highly recommend. It's very interesting. It's very intriguing. And it caught me off guard. So that's why it's in the list. Moving on. The next fragrance from that same house, Pierre Guglielmi. Oh, I hope I'm saying that right. Super Lady. Super Lady, on the other hand, still an apple scent, but this one is bright. This is Magnolia, Apple Candy, and White Amber. And when I say apple candy, think of, do I want to say Jolly Rancher? I don't know if I want to say Jolly Rancher. I kind of want to say Jolly Rancher, but not really. Think of like a sour apple. Think of a sour apple, a green, tart, juicy apple, like a crisp apple. The opening is beautiful. The opening is magnolia and apple. It's addictive. It is so addictive, and it's very crisp. Like, if crisp was a fragrance and you can imagine crisp being a smell, this is it. And I will say this, you need to like magnolia. to enjoy this fragrance because the magnolia comes in strong in the best way. But if you don't like magnolia, steer clear, baby. Steer clear. This is not the fragrance for you. Move on. Skip on to the next chapter. This is definitely magnolia heavy, but the apple accompanies it very well. And you could smell that kind of apple candy-esque scent there. And normally I would recommend this in the springtime. But there's something about the apple note and the sweetness, especially in the dry down. It gets a lot, the amber comes through and it gets a lot, you know, sweeter and more sensual. And that makes this a great transition fragrance. But I also think that in the winter or that fall to winter period when it starts to get much colder outside, I do think that there's going to be something very intoxicating about wearing this bright apple scent in cold weather. I think I'm going to try that this year and see what feelings evoking, because there's something about that scent in the winter time that I can just see being amazing. So yes, transitional. Now is the perfect time to wear this scent, but also fall transitioning into winter. If you live somewhere that has real seasons, I live in California, we don't really get real seasons, but it does get a lot colder in December. If you live somewhere where it like starts to snow, try wearing that fragrance in the snow and give you a little like Snow White vibes. You know what I'm saying? You know, try it. Let me know what you think below. Let's move on. So our next fragrance that I have is the good old Anie from Nishane, but this is the Anie X that we're going to talk about today. So Anie X just came out with the new X line, fairly new. And I think I like this better than the original, but let me know if you want a separate video of me comparing all of the X versions with all of the original versions, because there's very minor differences that mostly you notice on the skin instead of the paper. But I'm really feeling Anie X right now, and so is my husband, and it has apple in it. It's not, I would say, out of all of the fragrances that I'm talking about today, it's probably the one where the apple is the least noticeable. But it's such a good fragrance, and it is that colder time of year that I just have to mention it. I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. So this has a ton of notes. I am going to name a few that I actually think are most relevant and that play up in what I'm talking today. So that is going to be honeydew melon, cardamom, green apple, patchouli, and vanilla. Ugh, this fragrance is so nostalgic to me because it reminds me of my childhood, specifically rainbow sherbet. I know you had the rainbow sherbet from Baskin-Robbins 31 or whenever you went to the ice cream spot. The rainbow sherbet, like the orange one, was like orange, green, raspberry. What is it? Green apple, raspberry, and orange. I think those are the flavors. It is a delicious gourmand scent for summer. You can sure wear this, but it's a little heavy for the summer. But I think this is perfect for winter. Perfect for winter, perfect for fall, perfect for this transition of summer to fall. It is like a scoop of the sherbet ice cream on top of like woods and spices. Oh, it is so good. It's so good. This, when I wear this scent, I want to eat myself. Like, I smell that good. I want to take a bite, okay? When my husband wears this, I want to take a bite. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing right now? Because that's how good this smells to me. I know this is a popular scent. I know some people think it's overhyped. I think it's all worth the hype because it is that damn good. It's so addictive. It's so well blended. There's so many notes in this thing that if I were to put them on the screen, it wouldn't even fit. It would be on both sides. But try it if you haven't tried it. And if you have tried Anie and Anie X, comment below which one's your favorite. Which version are you feeling more? I personally think I like this one a little bit more than I like the original one, but I think I like this one a little bit more. So good. Anyway, moving on to the next. We are going to talk about Kilian's Apple Brandy. Because it's holiday, we have to. Keynotes, bergamot, apple brandy, cardamom. This is very good. We're now into that unisex territory. Anie X is definitely very unisex. This one is also very unisex as well. Whatever your preference is, you can still get away with this. When I smell this, I think of spiced cider, or like mulled cider, hot cider. Think hot toddy, because it's boozy. You're getting that brandy. You're getting that warmth from the cinnamon and the cardamom. And it's like cooked apple. Think cooked red apples. Perfect for the fall. It just is fall in a fragrance. When you smell this, you think of fall time, you know? You think of the leaves falling. You think of the crisp, cold air in the morning. It's less boozy than Angel Share. I feel like Angel Share, when I first smelled it, I thought it was apple. I could have sworn there was apple in it. But Angel Share is just so heavy to me. It's just too much. This one, to me, is a much more wearable version. And if you wanted to like Apple Share, but just couldn't get on board, or sorry, Angel Share, but just couldn't get on board like myself, I would try this one. It's lighter, it's fresher, and it's so good. And it's kind of what I wanted Angel Share to be. I personally like Apple Brandy more than I like Angel Share, but that's just me. Comment below if you agree. And our last fragrance of the day is going to be Parfums de Marly Greenley. This one is more masculine leaning. I don't know if I would wear this myself. It's definitely not my personal vibe, but I absolutely love this to smell on a man. This one is green apple, cedarwood, musk, and amberwood. And it is delicious. I feel like this one doesn't get talked about enough. Everybody always talks about like Leighton and Pegasus and all the other ones, but this one is really good, and it's a good everyday scent, especially for like going to work, going to the office. It's a good everyday scent, but it's not boring by any means. Think of green apple skin specifically, like when you're peeling a green apple. Think of that mixed with spices, like very green at the top, but then you can also smell the musk and the woods sitting right under. The mandarin adds a little bit of bitterness, just a little squeeze of citrus at the top, and everything blends very well. But make no mistake, this is definitely a masculine fragrance. When you look at the notes, it could seem like it's unisex, but I find this personally to be very masculine leaning. It's just a beautiful, fruity, spicy scent done right. Highly recommend. It would also make a good gift for Christmas, or you know, someone's birthday coming up and their birthday's during the fall. It would make a perfect gift because they would wear the heck out of it this season. It smells so good. Highly recommend. Even if you don't get it, just smell it for yourself, because I do feel like it's one of the less talked about fragrances from the Parfums de Marly line. And y'all are missing out, so try it. Anyway, that is all I have for my Apple Edition fragrances. I hope that you enjoy, and stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because I am going to be doing, like I said, an entire series on just fruits and notes that I think are perfectly suited for fall, and my favorites of those. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.